Hello, everyone. Hopefully that's it, and we are live. I am sorry yet again I had to change the day, so welcome if you're going to join me today. It is it is Wednesday, Wednesday the 28th of August. So, and just to let you know, I'll tell you again at the end if I remember. But next week it's going to be Wednesday as well. The cricket match which I had yesterday and had to reschedule this for actually has been moved to next week. So. It's thrown my schedule out. Actually, no, I don't think that's actually the case. Hang on. I just need to check because I've got a feeling I might end up with a problem doing it next week. Let me just check on my diary because I can't remember what I'm doing week by week. So how I can expect you to, I don't know. No, I am going to struggle to do it next week because we have, I said it later in the week, next Tuesday I'm cricketing, and the Wednesday I've actually got my Zoom Craftalong. So next week there won't be a crafting live. It'll be 2 weeks' time on the 10th, back to Tuesday, the 10th of September. So no live Craftalong next week, but I'd love you to join me at my Zoom Craftalong. The Zoom details are on the website. You can sign up and then you'll get your own personal link to it in my emails that I send out at a weekend. I only send one a week, so I won't overburden you with anything if you do join me there. So go to craftycarolscards.co.uk and sign up for my emails, and then you'll get all the information about the Zoom Craftalong via Zoom. You do not have to sign up to Zoom. You can just click the link and it'll open in a browser, and you can craft along with me. And the supplies you'll need for that are going to be listed in this weekend's emails. So sign up before Saturday, Sunday. When does it go out? Sunday morning. And you'll get all the details on Sunday morning of the various products, the stuff you might need to collect together so that you can join me to craft along via Zoom. So I hope you can make that. I'll tell you all about that again later. But today, let me just swap it over to my craft desk because you don't look at me. It's much nicer to look at stuff. So today I want to use this gorgeous bundle. This is the Changing Leaves bundle, and it has these gorgeous images of the leaves, 3 different types of leaves, and lots of lovely sentiments on it. You are amazing. Thank you. Here for you. I couldn't have done it without you. A little note to brighten your day. So some really great. So I've got hiccups. Oh, terrible doing live stuff and having hiccups. I hope they'll go away. Right. So this comes as a bundle. You can buy the stamp set separately or the dies separately, but the bundle includes the dies, which I will show you in a minute, and a hybrid embossing folder, which, let me put that against here and perhaps you can see it better. There we go. That's the hybrid embossing folder. Now, why is it hybrid, you may ask? Because one of the dies, there are 2 panels of dies. Normally I draw around my dies so I know where to put them, and I managed to take this off and then think, oh no, I thought I wouldn't need to actually put it back on here because I thought I won't forget this one because there's only one die, but I did. I forgot which way around it went, so in the end I did draw around it, but then I was holding the die upside down, hence I've got 2 drawings. I've had to scribble out the one that isn't right. I suppose I could use Tipp-Ex, can't be bothered. Anyway, this die fits in the embossing folder. So it'll actually sit in place in the embossing folder. So it's really easy to put in. So it just sort of clips in. You can sort of feel it. There we go. It's difficult to move then. It sort of clips, and then you have to lift it up to move it. So it clips around there. And I shall show you what it looks like because I have this piece here. Let me show you the other dies before we stop, actually. These are the other dies in the set. So you've got various frames, lovely sort of dotted pattern around the edges of the frames on those dies that fit the various sentiments in the set. We've got 2 open panel leaves and this lovely sort of central piece like a flower bud or whatever, and these solid leaves here. So I am using this not just today, but I shall also be using it in my in-person class in September. I've got some lovely cards planned for that. So that is the set I'm using today. Let me show you first this lovely hybrid embossing folder and what actually happens to it. So obviously you can use it without the die in, so you could just take the die out and just have, a piece of cardstock and emboss it, which I have done. before. In fact, if I show you, this is a sneak peek. Ooh, woo! This is one of the cards we're going to be making in the class, but you can just see I embossed the panel behind in that embossing folder. So that'll show you a little bit about what it looks like behind there. So I'm going to emboss it, and so I'll just place this piece of cardstock, and it's about 14.5 centimetres, I think, square, this piece of cardstock, something like that. Obviously, yes, it is 14.5 centimetres. So we can now close that up. So we've got the die, whoops, which has moved. Let me just put that back in again and close it that way. That's a much better way to close it. And then we can run it through the machine. Oh, it does. You do need the big machine. I hope I can get all this in shot. So this is the big cut and emboss machine. I'll try and get it in shot, and then you can see. And you need to do this. It's a hybrid embossing folder. It's a large one, so you need to follow the instructions on the plates. So use with 3D embossing folders. I need plate 1 and plate 4. This is plate 1, and this one is plate 4, and they're very handily got the numbers on them. Could even turn that the right way around, then you can see it. So you always know which plate it is which. So we pop that through there, and then I can run the whole thing through. Now, it can be quite hard to push one of these embossing folders through because they are quite thick, especially when they've got the die and the card in. But keep going, you won't break the machine. It may make some funny bangs. You might hear it bang as it gets to the end here. There we go. And we know then we've got to the end. So move that out of the way. And move my plates out of the way. Floors are very useful storage places, and then you can see what this does. So that's what it would look like, the actual embossed sheet. If I hold that up, I know it's got cut bits in it. It wouldn't obviously have the cut bits in it if it wasn't, but that's what the sheet looks like when it's embossed. And then the dies cut out 3 of the leaves. And you can see, and you've still got this bit. You could use this on the edge of a card. I thought about cutting it up, and actually you could make it into you could bring the sides in, just sort of cut it there, and it would come in and form the edge for a card. I'll perhaps show you that in a bit. I won't throw that, I'll keep it there. So just put that out of the way. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm going to put these back in for a minute because this is going to sound really strange, but for the blog post, I want to actually take a picture of what this is like, and rather than actually emboss another piece, I'm going to be very lazy. Just put this back together, and then fit in everything. There we go. Fit everything in, and then I can use this. Oh, I've got all my things here today. Where's my camera on this? Oops, no, that's the wrong one. Camera. Oh, there it is. Just to take a picture of that. Ooh. There we go. That's just for the blog later on, before I forget. Can't do it on my phone because my phone's doing the video at the moment. So anyway, there we go. There are the bits. So do let me know where you're from, by the way, if you are watching this, because I wanted to show you that you could obviously cut these out of card and you could use them as they are because, you know, they're fairly nice looking, but to me, a bit boring all one colour. So I am going to get a sheet of scrap paper because we're going to get a bit messy. And I want to show you there's various ways of colouring these things, which is just lovely. One of them is to use a blend. And using a blend is quite simple. You just need something to sort of tap it against because blends are quite inky. So let's put some dots on this one, shall we? So all I'm going to do is just sort of flick this over the end of me. So I'm just flicking up there. It's actually, most of it's missing the leaf, but oh, there we go. Now we're getting some on the leaf. There we go. Needed to hold it a bit more upright. So you can see why I need the paper underneath, because it does make a bit of a mess. And you can do as much or as little as you want. So there, I'll hold it up in a second. I just want to clean my poker tool. Because otherwise it does that. It splodges bits of, oh dear, Now I've got it all over my box too. Splodges bits all over my paper, as you can see here. So I do want to clean it before I do anything else, because otherwise I will get that dye anywhere else, that those splodges, as I have over the desk. So I'll just wipe those. Glass mat, wonderful thing. Glass Mat Studio, don't miss your chance to get it while it's an online exclusive. So there we go. There's, hopefully you can see the splatter on that. Hello. Oh, hello, Geraldine, Northern Ireland. It is fun. And actually, that's going to be part of one of the cards we're going to make in our in-person class in a couple of weeks. So I hope you can make that. So that just, hopefully, is that going to, yeah, there we go. You can see the splatters all over it. And obviously I can do that with different colours. So I could add in, what shall I add in? What have I got sitting here? That one was wild wheat. So let's use some copper clay on top as well. So when you're doing this technique, you do need to use the brush end. Don't use the pencil end because you damage it. So we'll just very gently just tap on there and get some more blodges on it. It's great fun, this. Very messy, but you know I like mess. And if you're careful, it doesn't damage your tips too much. Just wipe that up again. So you're not squashing them. You can see the tip's not damaged there at all, but it's a really nice way of getting a nice effect. It is messy though, it will get everywhere. So there we have now. Can you focus, little camera? So you can see there's two colours on there. If I'd done it on white, you'd have seen this a lot better, of course, but never mind. You can get the idea. So we can add a little bit of colour using that splattery technique, which I have managed to get all over the desk. Just try and clean some of that up before it dries. I think I'll have to have a good clean of this desk afterwards. So what else can we do? Well, other things we can do is use one of our little daubers, and I think that's had pecan pie on it, so I'll go back to, or copper clay. Yeah, I think that's copper clay, so we'll go back into there. Actually, it's probably still enough on here. So another thing we can do is just daub over with a colour. So that's putting some copper clay on top of crumb cake. So again, I'm not doing the whole thing, just making it sort of splodgy, because I want these to look a bit like autumn leaves. I just think I should have used white, and then you'd see this a lot better, but hopefully you can see enough on there how that's going. The other thing I can do is use a sponge, and this is an ink pad that we used to get through Stampin' Up. We don't anymore, but you can get it through Hobbycraft and places, and it's a gold ink pad. Quite useful. I don't use it much for stamping, but I do use it for this. So I'll pick some up on a sponge, and then again just dab this all over my embossed image. So now we've got a gold and copper clay effect. I hope you can see this properly. The light isn't brilliant today, but hopefully that gives you an idea. It is still visible. Good. Thanks, Geraldine. So there we have gold and copper clay on that leaf now. Just giving it a little bit more interest. Okay, one further thing we can do. Let's do it with this leaf. Shall I do it with that one? I might still do it with that one. I can do something else on that. And that is to get, if I haven't lost it. There we are, my Versamark. And just basically get your leaf and just dab bits of it in the Versamark. I'll do the stem as well. So I've just picked up a little bit of Versamark on there. And then I can get my gold or copper or whichever colour you want embossing powder. I just happen to have gold on the desk at the moment, so we'll use that. Sprinkle that over. Give it a good tap off. It's actually picked up quite a lot on there. It's probably going to cover up my splodges, but never mind. Just sort of shows it. Oops. Right, is my, oh dear. Oh, I've got my cord for my heat tool jammed under there. Right, there we go. Got it off now. So now we just need the heat tool and we can watch the magic happen. Make sure it's heated. There we go. And hopefully you'll be able to see this as it goes. So there we have, oh, still a little bit hot, but there you have, hopefully you can see that shining. Try and catch the light with it. So we've now got some copper clay splodges and also some Versamark, some gold shiny bits on the top. So let me show you again with this bit. I'll show you one leaf and then you'll see the difference. I should have done that really before, but never mind. So this time I'm going to use that, just that one leaf. So I'm going to press that onto the Versamark pad. And then get the embossing powder. So it's only covering the bit I want. So I've covered the whole thing now, so you'll see the difference. That time I really pressed the leaf in. Instead of just putting part of the leaves in, I've put the whole leaf in. So again, we can keep that. And watch the magic. So there you go. I can make the whole thing gold if I wanted, or I can just leave a few leaves. Oh, I don't know, I might do the whole thing on this. Looks quite nice, all gold. Saves my gold foils. A lot cheaper to do this by Versamark and gold embossing powder than it is doing it with gold foil, to be honest. Because obviously you'd waste quite a lot of gold foil cutting this out. So anyway, let's just try that and see what it looks like all gold. I keep putting this away. I don't know why I keep using it. Right. So we'll just cover all of that with embossing powder now. There we go. And just heat that, and then we're going to have a completely gold leaf, which is rather nice. So hopefully you can see this change as I put the heat over it. So there. Now I've got a lovely gold leaf to go in one of my projects. So there we go. So there's 3 different things you can do. All slightly different effects. Let me just move that out of the way. There we go. So what about making these into some cards? So I have got here various bits already sorted. Let's put that guy away before I forget. There we go, and the ones that I know I should follow. And I have already, obviously I can, you can, by the way, I should have said, this die you can use to cut out all 3 of these. So you can stamp them and then cut them out by just placing them under that particular bit of die. So that's what I've done to cut several of those out. Oh, and I used also this largest shaped die, the sort of wavy circle, I suppose. Wavy hexagon, I don't know, not quite sure what it is. Anyway, that one, octagon, I think. This sort of got 8, well, whatever. Anyway, I've used one of those to cut out a base. So I've got 2 cards we can make today, and I've already cut out a lot more leaves. I might use my nice gold one here, actually. I think that would be nice, don't you? Oh, yeah. And perhaps use that one instead of that one. No, it's too close to that. Right, we'll stick with those bits, I think. So I just cut myself a neutral card base, in this case crumb cake, and I've cut very vanilla because I think this goes really well rather than basic white, which I think a little bit harsh for these cards. So I'm using very vanilla. So I've cut the normal card base, which is 21 by 14.8, scored at 10.5, or 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored at 4.25. And my layer for the inside is our normal first layer, which is 10 centimeters by 14.3, or 4 inches by 5.25, if you are working in the US. So I also have cut a piece of this really gorgeous naturally gilded specialty DSP, which I think is part of, I'm not sure if it's part of the 15% offer or not at the moment. I'd have to check, but if it is, definitely worth getting a little stock up of this. I might actually buy some more because I've nearly run out. And this again is the normal size layer here, 10 by 14.3, 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Actually, I think that one was slightly smaller. Anyway, never mind. I'll put them in my blog. Then I also cut out from Very Vanilla that large Thoughtful Expression die. That's this one. You can see it's got a lovely dotted edge to it. Really pretty. Really pretty. So we're going to stick those on the front of here, and then we're just going to sort of bunch all those other things together. So let me show you some of these before I go any further. That is the stamped image of the large image. So that's done in wild wheat on Very Vanilla. Then I've done this one. This was the 3-leafed image, and that's stamped in copper clay on copper clay. So stamping, oh dear, you can't really see it's not so light today because it's a little bit dull outside, but hopefully you can see the pattern on that. I hope it's come out well. This one is a leaf that I've cut in pecan pie. So I cut it out in pecan pie and embossed it with the embossing folder, just like I did the first 3. And here I have actually sponged it with copper clay and with my gold, Delecta Gold ink pad, in the way I've just done one of the other leaves. A little bit dark, you perhaps can't see it all there. I can see that. I'm not sure that anybody else can. So I've just got a little scrap of Very Vanilla for a sentiment as well. But let's start to put this all together. So I am going to, first of all, stick down the DSP. It is single-sided, this specialty DSP, because it is gold foiled. It's very, very beautiful. You've got 3 different patterns in it. I'll show you it, actually. Then you can see that. So that's gone on my front. Now, where is my... Somewhere over here, I have got the DSP. There we go. So you can see the 3 here. You've got a silver, you've got a gold on Very Vanilla, and you've got copper on white. So silver on white, copper on white, gold on Very Vanilla. So really gorgeous DSP, and so useful as a background or even as a centre point for a card because it's so pretty. Then I am actually going to just stick this flat on the front. And the reason for this piece is I just felt when I was thinking about the card that there's too much going on in the background to really show the leaves. So I wanted something a bit plainer. I didn't want a completely plain background, but I wanted something a little bit plainer. Is that straight? Let me just use my lines on my, lines on my desk just to make sure that is straight. So I want that black line going straight through there and that tall line going there. Yeah. So that is my little background. And then I can build up my leaves on top of that. So I have my big gold leaf. I have my stamped big gold leaf. I don't know if that's too much. Probably not. And I might have those there. And then I've also die cut from wild wheat the sort of open colour leaves. And I did a gold one as well, out of gold foil. And I did the stems. That's what the stem looks like when cut out. And that's just cut out of gold foil. So I'm just going to stick these on in that, roughly like that, I think. So we will start with this at the back. And I'm not going to put glue everywhere. I'm just going to put glue sort of on the centre bit of it because I want the ends of the leaves to stay sort of sticking up. So I'm going to have that running around there. Just holding that down a little bit because it is embossed piece of card, so I don't want it bending and coming back up. So for this one, I'm actually going to use... I'm nearly run out of bits of... Never mind, I've got enough bits. I'm just going to use a little bit of the edging, because that's all I've got. A little bit of dimensional on the top leaf so that it'll stick up, but I'm going to leave the others sticking flat. So again, I'm just putting glue on the sort of centre of them rather than all the way to the edge. Although I haven't shaped these at all, again, I don't really want them to stick down, but that did I take the top off that? No. Yes. So I want that one to stick up a little bit, so that's why I've put dimensions on that. So we're going to overlap that there and stick that down like that. So these leaves are still going to stick up a little bit. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a bend to make sure they do. And again, I'm going to hold this down a little bit because I'm sticking it on top of an embossed piece, so it just needs a little bit longer to stick properly. That one's my dimensional, so that's fine. And then I think we'll have this one next, which again, I'm just going to shape those leaves just with my fingers, just very slightly like that. And then again, just put glue on the sort of middle bits of them, the bits nearest the stem. So I'll have that coming this side here. Press that down. And this one the other side. Again, not doing all of the leaves, just I should have done these slightly before putting the glue on, of course. There we go. And then these a little bit more fiddly. You can either do my trick of putting glue on the back of the hand and dabbing it in, or you can just very gently use the very tip. And if you're very gentle, you'll find you do get just little tiny dots of glue out. So I'm just going to put them on the bottom half again of this, so the top can wave in the breeze a little bit. So hopefully you can see the tiny dots of glue I've got on there. And we'll have that going this side, because the other one is, of course, already out of gold foil. And if I've got gold there, I'm going to balance it by putting this one the other side. So again, some little dobs of glue just towards the bottom of this leaf, not all the way up to the tip. And stick that this side. So you can see I'm getting dimension without using dimensions. We're just getting the dimension from having all the layers together. And then finally, same thing with this. I'm just going to put some little dobs of glue on these more bottom ends, leaving the top end without any glue. And that is going to go just up the middle there. There, so that's my sort of grouping. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bow of ribbon. So I'm going to use my rabbit ears, cross them over and push one end through, which gives me a nice flat bow with two ends that are completely different sizes. So we can just adjust those by pulling on these end pieces. Then I need my ribbon scissors. These are my ribbon scissors because it's got ribbon on. that's the way I always know. Cut that at an angle. Those are probably too long, those ends. I'm just going to trim them down a little bit. I don't want them coming off the end of the card. So I'm going to be sticking that on there with a glue dot. Where are my glue dots? Oh, I'd lost my glue dots then. Okay, so we will get a couple of glue dots on the end here, I think. So I'm just going to push the bow into the dot, and I'm going to put 2 on to make sure there's plenty of stickiness on there. Make sure my bow is a little bit open before I stick it. There we go. Stick my bow there. And we could leave that just as it is, really. We perhaps don't even need necessarily a sentiment on it, but I'm just going to put a sentiment along the bottom here. And because I've got sort of a lot of gold, a lot of light, I don't want to use a very dark colour. So I'm going to use my medium colour brown, which is my pecan pie. And I had got a sentiment out. I can't remember which one. You are amazing. That'll do. So actually, I don't need that bigger bit. We'll use this bit. You are amazing in every single way. That'll do. And now I could use one of the dies from the set, except I may have to just leave you to go and do that, because I haven't. Can I reach my, yes, this would fit on there, wouldn't it? Yes, I've got it long enough so that I can just get it balanced there. That's good. And I've got a little bit of sticky tape over here. Come here a little bit. There we go. Just stick that down. And move everything out of the way a little bit. Just get my mini machine in. And I can just cut this. It's all clear. Good. The veins are easily visible. Thank goodness for that. Thank you very much, Geraldine, because I wasn't sure. It looks a bit dark on my screen, but that could be just my screen, of course. Little tip, when you are using these going through, don't put them straight. Always have them at a slight angle if you possibly can, because it helps the machine to do that. Helps the machine not be so stressed by running something through. If it runs against a straight edge, it can get a little bit stressed. There we go, put those away. And here we are. So that's just cut out there. Let's move the machine out of the way. And then we can pop this in here. And I'm just going to, the only thing is I've got my, my bow's just covering it a little bit. I might just turn the bow very slightly. There we go. Yeah, that should do. Won't matter if it's covering it a little bit, but I don't want it covering the words completely because then people can't read it. So we'll have it here. Just there. There. So there is my card. Hopefully you can see it there. I haven't done anything on the inside yet. I need to do a little stamp on there. So I shall get one of my leaf stamps here. I think we'll get this one, because I rather like this one. Is that going to fit on there just about? Just, yeah. And we'll do it in wild wheat, I think. So I've just got, I should have gone on about the colours a little bit, but I've used just all the colours that are sort of autumny colours, really, because I rather like this. I'm going to go off the edge of the paper, so I'm going to use something behind it. You can stamp on this very easily and get it. Gosh, I'm getting in a mess of all my bits. There we go. So I'm just going to stamp that up, and we'll just have that in the corner of this. There we go. You can see the leaves on that perhaps a little bit better than before. The veins on that. I rather like this one. I think this could be my favourite leaf. But all of them are beautiful, just like all of them. So again, I'm not going to put any other sentiment in. Could do. There's a nice one there. I couldn't have done it without you, which would go well. But I'm not sure who I'm going to be sending this to. So I am going to just stick this in blank, and then I can always add a sentiment later if I wanted, or if I wanted and I wasn't sure about my stamping, I needn't stick it in. I could just leave it loose and then finish the sentiment later. So that's that. And of course, I also need to do my envelope, and I don't think I've got an envelope over here. No, I haven't brought my envelopes in, so I'll have to do that later. But I would do the same thing on the envelope. I'll stamp that on the corner of the envelope. You'll see it in the picture in the blog later. So there we go. That is the card I've made with these gorgeous leaves. So we'll be doing something very similar to this, but with slightly different DSP and things, and doing some different techniques on the leaves at the class in a couple of weeks' time. So I did have another one here, but it's a little bit late to do it. Again, just different leaves. So this time I've stamped the big one in copper clay on Very Vanilla. I've done that one on Crumb Cake. I've done that one on wild wheat on wild wheat. Got some more little die cuts. Haven't done a centre on that one, so I'd need to die cut that. But I just wanted to show you this. I'll put it against here so you can see it better. This is the Mercury Vellum, and it's absolutely beautiful. Again, gold, and I thought that made a lovely background to the stamp. This is actually what we're going to be using in class, I think. Although there's a choice in class, actually. So you can let me know, Geraldine, which you'd prefer, because I was going to do a card similar to that. Or the other thing we can do is you can actually make these leaves into a poinsettia for Christmas. So I'm not going to tell you how, because that's giving away all my secrets. But I saw one of my friends actually did it, and I saw it and said, could I please case it? And he said, yes. Oh, I have got a centre done, so I could do this one. But yeah, who knows? I've got those ones as well. We'll see. I'll do those later. Because I'll just make a card very similar to this. And it's boring showing you the same thing again. So we'll just stick to the one card today. But yes, if you can make it into a poinsettia using cherry cobbler or whichever red you want to use. Cherry cobbler, I think, will go best. And perhaps we could do that in the class. Which would you prefer? I'm going to ask you, Geraldine, and you can answer whether you'd prefer to do a poinsettia or a little arrangement like this. Ooh, there's a question. Or you don't mind. I don't think we can get 3 done in the class. That's the other card we're making in the class. And these are just, again, different colouring techniques on these leaves here, which, again, we'll go over when we do the class. What do you think? If you are still there, you can let me know which you think would be good. A card similar to this, perhaps using the vellum, or, yeah, I think we might use the vellum, or a poinsettia. You can let me know. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you think about getting this absolutely fabulous set. It really is beautiful, and as a bundle, it's... got that all tangled up. Oh my goodness, what am I doing here? I'm just going to throw those away because they got slightly torn then. Get this bit away before I forget it. There we go. So such gorgeous dies. The embossing folder is to die for, it really is. And we'll be doing a background to the card as well in the class. So you obviously can't decide, Geraldine, that's fine. Just let me know at some point, or I might decide for us and decide what we're doing. But there we go. I'll just put that stamp away again. Oh, and my leaf stamp, there it is. So has anyone got any questions or any comments? Otherwise, I will say goodbye. I am going to put the description for this card in the blog. So that will be out just later today. And hopefully I will see some of you all another time. Thank you for joining me today. I apologise that there won't be a live Craftalong next week. The one after that is going to be the next Craftalong live on YouTube and Facebook. That is going to be on the 10th of September, Tuesday the 10th, when hopefully we'll be back to our Tuesdays. Although I think the following week we might have to be a bit later or move it a day because I'm coming back from a breakaway. So I'm sorry to be messing people around. We will settle back to Tuesday very soon, hopefully. But next week, as I say, if you want to go to my website, you'll see the blog. You'll find out all the details of what I've done today and the descriptions of what we've done today. And let me put me back so I can speak to you. And if you go onto my website. You can sign up for my emails, and if you get the email this weekend, it's coming out on Sunday, so you need to sign up before then. You will get all the supplies you need for joining me for my Zoom Craftalong next week, Craftalong on Zoom. You don't need to sign up to Zoom for it. The link in the email you can just use in your browser and join me on Zoom when we can actually talk properly, which is much nicer than just chatting. And you can make the card along with me. It's a card that you can use more or less any set for. You just need some DSP, some coordinating cardstock, DSP with a double-sided DSP, some coordinating cardstock, and various other little bits of basic white. That's all you're going to need, and all the details will be in the email coming out on Sunday morning. So do sign up for that if you're not already signed up for my emails. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you like the card, and I hope you have a think about this set, because it really is a fabulous bundle. I can think of so many other things to do with it, which is great, like the poinsettia. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye.